Not one single elected leader was at this rally denouncing the burning of Christian churches, which is now more than 50.
Yeah, Raheel was quoting Christian scripture in her speech. There's no better ally for persecuted Christians than Raheel Raza, and I'm so glad she's on our side. Oh, I love Raheel.
I love her.
She's such a voice of reason. Even just her voice in her videos. I will listen to her videos over and over because I find her voice so calm and soothing. And she takes these big complex issues and turns them into 4 minutes. And it's like, yes, I get it. Perfect.
And she's so generous. You know, she gave me my keychain at Christmas time. And whenever she comes to Rebel HQ, she brings these incredible samosas. And she is just a genuine, loving person who I think wants to make the world work, essentially, Sheila.
Yeah.
And, you know, isn't it incredible? I mean, Raheel Raza is a Muslim. And here she is speaking out in defense of Christian churches, whereas our elected leaders, AWOL. Not one single elected leader was at this rally denouncing the burning of Christian churches, which is now more than 50.
Yeah, Raheel was quoting Christian scripture in her speech. There's no better ally for persecuted Christians than Raheel Raza, and I'm so glad she's on our side.
Well, let's take a look at some of the footage from a rainy Saturday.
Pointed, and I'm very disturbed. You know, today was a day when I had another commitment, but I decided to come here because as a Muslim, I feel it's very important for those people who are not part of the Christian faith to speak out in support of what is happening. Because I know that when, let's say, if a mosque, God forbid, was burned, the entire country would have been up in arms about Islamophobia, and the politicians would all have been here, and they would have been speaking. If this happens to any other community, they are there. Why is it that the Christians are sort of sidelined as though they are a minority when they're not?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the narrative. You're quite right. I mean, I remember a few years ago, the hijab hoax, just based on an assumption something bad happened. It was later debunked. Well, you actually had the Prime Minister flying into Toronto to decry that. What is going on here in terms of the religion of Christianity is, I guess, fair game, and if bad things happen, oh well, people shrug. But if these were synagogues, if these were mosques, if these were Hindu temples, there'd be, I think, a royal commission struck by now.
Yes, you know, a place of worship is sacred. It doesn't matter which faith it belongs to. But it should be the same for all communities, for all people of faith. You know, churches are an integral, sacred part of the Christian faith. If churches are being vandalized, and we're not talking about one church, we are talking about dozens of churches, and we're talking about this over a period of time. I mean, you know that because you have covered it. And I've been watching this, and I've been burning inside that why isn't anyone doing anything about this? Why aren't they speaking about it? There are MPs and MPPs in this particular riding who should have been here speaking today. They should have shown support. Maybe we can't do anything physically, but we got to show support for our Christian brothers and sisters. They are our brothers and sisters in humanity.
Oh, I totally agree. And Raheel, I guess we have to look at the issue through the lens of the unmarked burial graves of Indigenous residential students. And yet, by the same token, many of these churches that have been burnt to the ground were on Indian reserves. These were their community centers. These were places where people got married, where burial ceremonies took place. They didn't want these churches burnt down. So what is fueling this arson, given that I think this is re-victimizing those in the Native community?
It is, definitely. And I don't think that there has been a deep enough investigation done to find out what is happening. It's sort of brushed aside. You know, that, okay, it's happening, so a church is burned, so big deal. And I want to tell you something very poignant where the hate comes in. I posted this event on Facebook, and somebody, very educated, eloquent, I mean, I'm not talking about, you know, somebody who's not educated, wrote a note, not a Muslim, not a Christian, wrote a note saying churches are, you know, all funded on dirty money. I mean, something very, very nasty. And I thought to myself, this is what leads to hate. You can't make generalized statements. Yes, there have been problems with the residential schools. Yes, but these problems can be solved by dialogue. They are solved by pressuring our politicians. Burning of churches is not a solution to any problem.
100%. And I think one of the most profound things.
You know, and Sheila, here's the question I ask you and our audience. Where are the words of outrage from Public Safety Minister Bill Blair, from RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki, from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau? It's the three monkeys: see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. In fact, actually, it's worse than ignoring it, because our very own Drea Humphrey last month in Vancouver was trying to scrum Prime Minister Trudeau on this. Not only did he not answer the question, why won't you condemn the burning of these churches, but one of Trudeau's goons manhandled Drea out of the way like she was some vermin at the garden party. This is sickening on two levels. Like I said, the actual vandalism and arson, and the complete silence from our elected officials.
Yeah, Bill Blair's too busy scapegoating hunters, farmers, for escalating gang crime that seems to be exceeding your coronavirus deaths in Toronto for some reason. That's where his focus is. He's not focusing on these church burnings. There's another one that happened over the weekend that they're becoming so frequent that it feels normalized at this point. Our web team has done a really great job of documenting these things. Great job, Margaret and Dave. You guys don't get enough kudos, but we know how hard you work. RCMP investigating arson at Fox Lake Community Church in northern Alberta. 550 kilometers north of Edmonton. The RCMP told media in a statement that emergency crews responded sometime around 10 p.m. on Saturday night after reports of fire at the Fox Lake Community Church. The building is still standing but sustained significant damage to the interior, RCMP said. A fire investigator attended the scene and was able to determine that the fire was, of course, deliberately set. We have a petition, saveourchurches.ca, to those three monkeys who don't seem to care about what's happening to Christian churches, to recognize the burning of churches as acts of hate and terrorism. But also, we have a reward at Find the Arsonist. Is it .ca or .com, Justin? I forget which one we have there. But if somebody has information leading to the identity of the arsonist, .com, thank you. Findthearsonist.com. So the identity of the people who are setting these fires deliberately and committing these acts of hate and terrorism, you can submit your tips at findthearsonist.com. And the boss man is putting up $10,000 of his own money to find the person responsible for the burning of these Christian churches, which is a heck of a lot more than the Canadian federal government is doing.
Oh, 100%. Oh, the Canadian federal government. Let's talk about Justin Trudeau's best pal, Gerald Butts. He doesn't condone the arson, but he understands it, Sheila. Could you imagine someone in that position saying, well, I don't condone the burning down of that mosque, but I understand it. It's cancel culture city within minutes. But evidently, if it's a Christian church, fair game, absolutely despicable. I believe we have some super chats.
Yeah, that's like Cuomo saying, or people defending Cuomo saying, I don't condone all the groping and sexual harassment that he did. However, I understand it based on how that lady was dressed.
Perfect.
Oh, hi. That was a clip from our Rebel Daily live stream. It's hosted Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by the big boss man, Ezra Levant, and Tuesdays and Thursdays by me, Sheila Gunn Reid, and my good friend, David Menzies. On the live stream, we talk about the news of the day, we show some videos, and we interact with our viewers at home. We stream at 12 noon Eastern, 10 Mountain. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, Super U, and Odyssey.